Come on.
Welcome, everybody. It's Franchise or Bust. Trevor's in the house as always.
Katie's here too.
Katie's here with all that same energy and enthusiasm as always. And we got to say, our guest today is making us super excited. It's going to make you excited and hyped up and energized as well, because the world he lives in is the world of health, fitness, and making sure that people stay on the right track with their goals. He is Adam with UFC GYM. Adam, how are you?
Trevor, how are you? Katie, hi. It's good to see you guys and be with you.
Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. He's coming into us remote from the great Pacific Northwest today, but traveling around because the UFC GYM brand is all over the country. And he's the man with the plan who's in charge, making sure to pay attention to all different corners of the UFC GYM brand and as they grow. So, Adam, let's kind of just start basic, and then we're going to drill down and we're going to get all the info from you that we need about, how you're doing with your brand and your tips and tricks at the franchisor level. But before we get into all of that, tell us about UFC GYM, how to get started, where are you guys at, and maybe a little bit about what's got you excited right now.
Yeah, you bet. So listen, how important is fitness in today's world, right? We've been through an interesting couple of years, and fitness has really evolved over the last 30, 40 years, right? So from, let's call it the 80s, we had kind of the Bally's platform, and then we go in and we continue to evolve and with step classes and doing different types of programming. But as in my background, I was with 24 Hour Fitness for a long time, 17 years, and mentored by a gentleman by the name of Mark Mastroff, who was the owner and chairman of 24 Hour. And it was a great ride for us, but we learned that in some cases, fitness lacks purpose. And in order for people to really stay with this thing, and the January syndrome, right? People join in January, they go a couple times, they never go back. We don't want that as a business model. We want people to actually use the gym. So we said, hey, how do we create fitness with purpose? And how do we create an identity where somebody can find the best version of themselves? We didn't have to look any further than the incredible organization of the UFC. And Mark just happened to be friends with Lorenzo Fertitta and Dana White. They had a meeting and they said, let's form a gym based on how a UFC athlete trains. You don't have to be a great fighter. We're not going to make you fight. But how does a fighter train? Because fighters are the best conditioned athletes on this globe, not just physically, but also mentally, right? You have to be in incredible shape if you're going to step into that octagon. So we said, if we can mimic and we can copy how a UFC athlete trains and put it into a four-wall brick and mortar environment, we could have something very special. Fitness with community, fitness where kids can work out, fitness where you can gamify it, fitness where you can literally become the best version of yourself with the way that we train you. So that's how UFC GYM was born back in 2009. And now we're developing in 40 countries around the globe.
That's outstanding. What a cool, in my mind, it's like the modern day gladiators are the UFC guys and the UFC athletes. And you think back to those days, if you were to put yourself in that environment, it's obviously if it was willingly, but I'm saying to willingly put yourself in that environment, the amount of mental kind of and physical that you had to combine is truly there. And yeah, you guys are mimicking that today. Something you're kind of touching on that I think is interesting is you're identifying what separates you. And what I just heard right now is most of the time when you think about, well, I need to go to the gym, or I want to work out, I want to feel better, there isn't really that purpose behind it other than maybe some narcissism or some vanity. Talk a little bit more, maybe expand a little bit more on the uniqueness and kind of how you all are separating a little bit from the competition, because as you said, fitness is super important right now. It's on people's minds. There's a ton of options, that they can choose from. So maybe dive in just a little bit more than you already did into the uniqueness and kind of what separates UFC GYM.
Well, yeah. And first, let's be clear. I don't look at fitness competitors as competitors anymore. Right now, just in the US, only 25% of the population is working out. So we all got this common end result, which is to get more people active and get more people moving. And in some countries, it's less than 1%. Imagine that, less than 1% of the population actively working out. And when you think about stuff like COVID and other issues, man, it all comes from things like obesity and hypertension and so forth. And so when we started UFC Gym, it really did become about the points of differentiation of how we can be a different value proposition compared to an average fitness facility. So much now, fitness has become transactional, right? So what they've done is they've lowered the price, and we are not the lowest price club in town, that's for sure. But they've lowered the price. They've become transactional. So you basically pay $10 a month. You show up, whether you go or don't go, you're going to pay your $10. But there's no experience, right? You don't remember what you did last week. You don't remember what you did the week before. So what we wanted to do was create more of a premium fitness experience where it starts with environmental, where when you walk into a UFC gym or a UFC fit, you know it. You have energizing music, energizing team members that are inspiring to help you enjoy your journey at the facility for that day. Then you integrate with different services and products, right? So when you look at our classes, some of our gyms can have up to 600 classes per month, and it can range from doing Zumba and cycling class and body pump all the way to doing jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, and all sorts of different types of discipline training. And so when you look at the variety of classes, you look at the environmental aspect of high energy, you look at our virtual platform, which is boxhitlive.com. You look at our integration with fitness technology, our integration with nutrition and supplements. And we've also added another leg, which is called recovery. So in most of our gyms now, we have cryotherapy, compression therapy, those types of services that allow a consumer to not only train incredibly hard, but after you train hard, you go out and you recover. But most important, Trevor, more than anything else, is being able to show up in a gym that you like, with people that you like, and a community of members that all have similar goals and common end results. And that's what we've been able to do here at UFC.
So when you're starting a franchise brand, and as you get it off the ground, you're emerging, and get a little past emerging, which is where you guys are. You're established at this point. You got to have that unique product. You got to have something that sets you apart. You got to have vision, which incites your culture and kind of goes from there. But then you also have to, have strategies and plans and thoughts about how do you grow and what's going to be attractive to a franchisee to come on board and be a part of UFC Gym. Obviously, I'm sure you all are looking oftentimes at potential franchisees that have a passion for fitness, that you want them to share your passion. But what are some of the other just things that a potential franchisee might find appealing about being a part of UFC Gym, other than unique selling prop, they're passionate about fitness? What is it maybe about just the brand itself that would appeal to them, or the unit economics that would appeal to them?
Well, let's start off with the three letters, because I think that's an important parallel, right? Is the UFC itself is the fastest growing sport globally, and what an incredible job Dana did navigating through this very tricky last couple of years and making sure that he was hosting live events. And they provide such a great path for us to be able to drive our fitness business, because they're a global brand, and as their child, we're a global brand. And so I think when you think about, as a franchisee, there's many roads that you have to consider and think about. So obviously there's the business piece, right? And are we set up with fundamental business practices to be able to help you become incredible at being able to present the brand and fulfill the brand promise? And we do that. We have systems called Fran Connect and a system called Club Connect. We have a whole online university. As I talked about, we have virtual fitness. And so we have all the variables in place to integrate technology into helping and supporting the franchisee grow the business model. In addition to that, we have regional consultants that are there to support the franchisee as needed. Because, like any business in any segment, there's expertise that's required. There's special recipes that are required to maximize your overall business efficiency. And then outside of that, listen, to me, when you look at the franchise model, you have to consider, are you looking at this as just a pure investment, or are you trying to do this out of a lifestyle change and a way of life? I think when you look at and from an investment perspective, and I'll use Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod, out in Miami, right? He's our franchisee. He's pretty high profile. He's developing 11 sites in Miami, and we manage and run all those sites. And so he basically said, hey, here's capital. Go find me great real estate. Go find me great team members, and let's open these gyms. I'll let you do everything. Just distribute the profits to me. And that's exactly what we did. We have a hotel type of management model called an MSA, and we run and develop and operate all those facilities. We currently have around 15 MSA locations around the U.S. And so that's certainly one option that, from an investment perspective, you can look at. But if you're looking to be in the box and you're looking to operate the box, which is what excites me the most, is that when you have somebody that's inspired, that loves fitness, that wants to change lives, that wants to create a purpose in people's lives, and they want to do it through business, to own a UFC gym, to be able to do that personally is incredibly gratifying. If you learn not to chase the money, but you learn to chase the passion, and you learn to chase the opportunity and the obligation that we have to make people's lives a little bit better, it's incredibly rewarding as a franchisee. And so I think with our system, all the fundamentals are in place, A to Z. I think it's the franchisee understanding what's their pathway. Is it an investment model, or is it an owner-operator model? And then it's identifying that and making sure that we put you on the right pathway for success, and then we grow from there.
So you guys, you got the product down, the uniqueness, the clarity of vision, all those things, the name, the brand name, just like you mentioned. I mean, global, obviously huge. And then you're paying attention to your franchisees, all setting you up for success and growth that you have. So let's talk a little bit about, success and growth. You all have been around since 2009. You're international at this point, got lots of locations here in the United States as well. What's the goals over the next 3 to 5 years for UFC Gym? Are you guys looking to kind of grow to the point where you're maybe one of the big dogs in the space, or are you more focused on, hey, we're going to get the right operators and the right locations, and this is our plan? What's the growth model and growth outlook look like for UFC Gym?
Global legacy, which is we are developing in 40 countries right now around the globe. And we have an obligation to make sure in every one of our locations we're making that trade area better. And so when you look at, with those three letters, the UFC, and how it translates globally, it's an incredible opportunity for us to bring the value proposition of how we look at fitness and spread this mission across the globe. And I wouldn't rule out putting the gym on the space station either. We'll talk about that, but I think they just
to the moon, baby.
They just retired it though, so I think we have to figure that one out. But listen, it's unlimited potential, and the question is making sure that you do it at the right pacing and sequencing, that you have your fundamentals in play, that you trust the right partners that you bring into the organization. We're never going to be perfect, right? And never would I suggest that we're going to be 100% perfect 100% of the time. But what we will do is we will do the best work that we possibly can. We'll have extreme work ethic, big time character, even bigger enthusiasm and passion to help continue to grow this brand the right way through inspiring others to be the best version of themselves. We all have our own personal fight, right? It may not be to enter an octagon to fight somebody else, but it may be to lose a little bit of weight, to feel a little bit better about yourself. In my regard, I like to grow a little bit of hair. We haven't figured that one out yet. Yeah, you too,
Same.
Trevor, you're with me.
I'm with you.
And so, the opportunity is great. The growth and development is great. We're very fortunate to have some of the best fitness partners that you could possibly imagine around the earth, from countries like Russia, China, India, the United Kingdom, all these great territories and locations. We just brought on Bolivia. They're about to open their first club. Israel's about to open their first club. Germany and Berlin is about to open. So we have all these incredible partners, and just to have them involved with us. I mean, have you guys been out to Dubai yet?
Not yet. Well, Katie spent a month there one night, but we haven't quite made it yet. But that sounds to me like you've got some cool travel in your future, Adam. You're gonna have some awesome places to go.
I've visited most, and the cultures are incredible. And the reason I mentioned Dubai is they now turned into our fastest growth market. They're going to have 25 locations out there in the UAE. Very quickly. So
Wow.
it gives you guys a reason. I think we've got to do a live podcast from Dubai on top of the largest building in the world. How about that?
I'm in. I'm in. We want to be at the top of the world too, baby. We're there
Deal.
with you. Outstanding. So growth is happening. It's going international. You guys have an amazing clarity of vision, which I love, and a passion for fitness. Talk a little bit about, so you've got the fitness game down, and you've got the best partners you could have inside of that space. What about continuing education / partners / thoughts toward just the world of franchising? Like, so, being members of different groups inside the franchise space, or maybe even talking to other health and wellness brands and fitness brands that have been in this space and getting information from them. What do you do in those regards, Adam? Are you guys active in any of that, or active in the IFA, or just different places where you guys can continue to grow your franchise knowledge?
Yeah, so we like to diversify and go wide with as many relationships that we possibly can. And again, if you don't view franchising as competition, but you view it as a way to integrate somebody's passion with economic interest, it's not overly difficult. We probably turn away more people that want to franchise with us than we grant, because we want to make sure it's right for the franchisee. We want to make sure it's right for us, and that we can have a marriage together, because we're going to get into a 10, 15-year marriage, right? And whenever you do that, you just want to make sure that it makes a lot of sense on both sides. And we're fortunate. We're involved in everything that you talked about. We have a very good franchise for sale development team, both one is domestic, that's out of Texas, and another one's out of Thailand, that's international. We're about to make an announcement where we're going to add another business that's under a different brand right now. They're going to rebrand themselves the UFC, and they're going to add those domestically and internationally. And so the process is in play, and we have a great franchise for sale website. We have a great PR team. And so structurally, when you talk about the fundamentals of developing new territories and developing new locations, I think we've laid a pretty good platform that allows us to have the right pace of growth.
What do you think is more important at the franchisor level, let's say, and kind of maybe the day-to-day that you live in? Do you think it's more important to kind of get up and really be thinking through and thinking about the ins and outs of the franchise world, or is it more important to get up and just kind of think about, all right, I'm living inside of this culture, and I'm living inside of this ecosystem that I've created, and how do I thrive inside of that, and the rest will come to me? What's maybe your take on just day-to-day game plan that gets you, kind of gets you motivated?
I'll answer that through an emotional intelligence response, right? Which is being self-aware of where your passion is and understanding how to hire around you to make sure you can fill the gap where you're inefficient. And I think that's kind of the process that we live by, is that I think there's room to do everything that you just talked about, Trevor. I think that we can be great in all areas. But as an individual, if I try to be great at everything, I won't be good at anything. But if I can go deep and narrow on a couple things that are most important from my role and my position, and I can identify opportunities holistically with the rest of our organization and have the right people in play to help me drive those opportunities where they go deep and narrow on it. Now we have an incredible organization that is buttoned up A to Z, and I have experts in every vehicle within the business.
I love that. And, delegation can be so important, especially at the franchisor level, as I think in particular, when it comes to really growing out to accomplish the goals you guys have, which is to be kind of the global leader and have a global legacy. You got to be able to say, all right, we've got a big group here. Everybody knows what they're doing and we're going to move, as opposed to sometimes you see some emerging brands get sort of stuck in that, well, this was my baby, this was my thing, or, it used to be me and 4 or 5 other people and we got this thing off the ground, and they get, a little bit tunnel visioned into that. So it's awesome to hear that, you guys have got that self-awareness, like you mentioned, and you're moving on. Okay, so let's take, for example, we're going to use Katie. So Katie's a potential customer going into UFC. Now, Katie's thrown a few bows in her day. Okay, so she's
I broke my elbow this year. So
right. Well, but let's say she wants to come in customer experience wise. She goes online, she researches, she says, you know what, UFC, obviously I know that name. Let me go check it out. When they come in, what's the immediate experience that you're looking for that customer to have?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think the answer is going to be interesting. I think one is I want her to feel the environment that makes you want to exercise and makes you want to work out. So if anybody's ever seen a UFC event and you go to the main event and you have Bruce Buffer announcing the main event, it excites you to a level that is almost unmeasurable. And we want Katie to feel that passion as she walks into the door. So it gives her a reason to want to come back. And then the other part of this is we want to make sure that she feels accepted and embraced in the community. So the ability to meet the team and meet the members and feel as though she's part of our family, that she's not an outsider, but she's an insider. And we feel like if Katie can connect to the customer, connect to the team, and then be inspired by the environmental impact that our gyms have, that not only is she going to work out a little bit harder, but there's a much larger chance, improved chance that she's going to stick with this as a lifestyle change.
And that's to me, with your business, that's the fundamental, right? They got to keep coming back. You want them back and back and back, because it just gets in their bones and they love it, and they need to be coming back.
But would Katie join or not is what I want to know.
I'm already pumped just from that.
Yeah. I think, well, I know this much. We've inspired us to buy, if nothing else, go check it out. There's a UFC gym, not too far from where we're at. We're here in Nashville, Tennessee. I know there's one not too far away. So we definitely have to go check that out.
I'll tell you what, you guys should travel to Miami next month. We're going to grand open Alex's next club in Plantation, Florida. It's a great reason to have a road trip, to do these podcasts on the road. I'll set you guys up in a little office. You can do road trip podcasting.
Let's see, Katie. Did he just twist her arm to go to Miami? Is that oh no, please don't make us go to Miami and do this podcast. We would love that. Adam,
please.
Absolutely, man. It's been amazing to get to know and just really be able to feel, kind of feel your energy, feel your passion for UFC gym and for the I think the fundamental kind of core of what you all do, and that is changing people's lives for the better. People coming in, really getting themselves in a position in life where they feel better, not just physically but mentally, and that's outstanding. And I also think it's really cool that you guys have really zeroed in on, like, hey, people like to be around other people, and especially other people when they're all sharing something in common and they can get excited and have enjoyment together. And that's been challenging the last little while here, but that's never going to go away. That's a fundamental human experience, and I get excited to hear that there's brands like yourself out there still really pushing that, really driving for that.
No, thank you. And I listen, I want all of us to think about this, right? Because part of our obligation is to extend lives. And I read recently, as there's a lot of scientific data going around, right? But I read recently that 95% of all diseases are avoidable. 5%, there's genetic and there's other things that you just can't control. But 95% is avoidable through good health, good nutrition, going to the doctor on a regular basis, going to the dentist on a regular basis, maybe seeing a shrink sometimes, which is okay, no judgments. But 95% is controllable to extend your life and live a healthy life. And all of us can make that decision on a daily basis of how we live. So my job and my requirement is to make sure that we provide facilities where everybody can come in and find what their pathway is so they can become the best version of themselves. And so if we all work together, not just UFC Gym, but other fitness companies around the globe, and we all eat a little bit better, sleep a little bit better, start talking to each other again, stop this division, we're going to be in an incredible place as we get through the 2020s.
Love it. It's going to be the roaring 20s, right, baby. We're coming back. We're coming back with a vengeance. And I love your passion, and we appreciate you so much being here with us today and learning about UFC Gym. We unpacked a lot, and the one thing we know for sure is that the world is on notice, because UFC Gym is coming for the whole globe, baby, and that's just the way it is.
Thank you.
All right, Adam. Appreciate you, everyone. Adam with UFC Gym. We'll see you on the next Franchise or Bust. Thank you.
Come on.